Hey there, thank you for tuning in to Duckbricks, and welcome to another Top 10 LEGO minifigures video, the show where we count down the best of the best minifigures from every single year of LEGO. From 2021 all the way down to the far past, we'll be taking a look at the best collectible minifigs as well as the best non-collectible minifigures, and eventually ranking them all in a massive showdown between all the best figures from each year. Last time we covered 2021, 2020, and the non-collectible minifigures of 2019. And so this video is focusing on the top 10 best collectible minifigs of 2019. This is, of course, just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours, so let me know down in the comments below after you watch this video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And do you think I was missing any from this list? What are your personal favorite collectible minifigures from 2019? And so without further ado, let's just jump right into number 10. Okay, so kicking things off at number 10, we have the Hades minifigure from the LEGO Disney Series 2 collectible figures. The one thing I really love about this figure is the attention to detail when it comes to sculpting the fantastic leg sculpt he has. This is a piece that is unique to the figure and likely will remain unique for this figure. It's just a fantastic looking tentacle-like leg sculpt, which really feels like a robe transitioning into tentacles, which is a really cool effect to have on a figure. He also reuses the piece introduced for Ghost Rider in 2016. Surprisingly enough, the flames on the back of this figure's head are actually glued onto the head itself. You cannot actually remove them, specifically because LEGO probably figured that having the flames by themselves would be a little bit too brittle. That being said, it is really cool to get this molded and casted in transparent light blue. Really interesting to see that as a LEGO headpiece, and while the minifigure's accessories are nothing too special, just the standard fire elements, it is also nice to see dual molded arms with printing on the sides of the arms. That being said, this figure is lower on the list specifically because, again, since it is based off of an animated character, there isn't a lot of detail in the torso. Large sections of the printing of the torso are just plain in the color of dark gray, which I do feel is a bit of a missed opportunity. I do understand that they do want to be accurate to the source material though, so I do get that, but it definitely just feels like a little bit plain compared to other collectible minifigures on this list, which is why it is so low. But it is, again, very nice to get the recolor of the mold for the Ghost Rider head, as well as a brand new tentacle mold, which looks very, very good on this figure. And with that, we can move on to our number 9 pick. This is Abe Lincoln from the LEGO Movie 2 collectible minifigure series. It's an update compared to the original Abe Lincoln figure, featuring a brand new mold for the dual mold of the hat and hair combo, with some steampunk-inspired goggles mounted on the top of the hat, as well as some great detailing on the sides of the arms as well. The one thing I really do like about this figure is just how cool this looks and how it could work easily as just a steampunk-like LEGO figure in general, which is not something LEGO tends to do all too often. I really appreciate the attention to detail being done even on the lenses of the goggles, where you can see that as the figure rotates, little bits reflect in the light with slightly different shades of metallic silver, which I am a big fan of. I also love the way the printing continues from the belt onwards down to the legs there. The red sash looks really good, as well as the classic LEGO skull emblem just really accentuates this figure. That being said, this figure does not feature dual molding whatsoever on the legs or the arms, and it does not have any printing on the legs as well. For a collectible minifigure, I feel like I probably would have at least expected the knee pads to be printed along the sides of the leg, so it is unfortunate that we do not get that, but that's again why it is a little bit lower on this list. It is still a really cool figure to get, with a very steampunk-inspired design. With that, we can move on to our number 8 pick. This is Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, again for the Disney Series 2 collectible figures. And this is a truly deluxe figure, sporting dual molding on both the legs and the arms, as well as printing on both the legs and the arms. This is one of the most detailed figures LEGO has ever done, and I really love the amount of texture and detailing the torso factors in, featuring different pieces of fabric sewn together and cobbled together to form the outfit for this character. Again, as you can see here, the printing even on the boots extends all the way around the foot, printing on the sides of the legs continuing the black pattern, as well as continuing the patchwork quilt pattern of basically the entire legs themselves. This, I think, is truly one of the best applications of dual molding, where you don't really even notice it's dual molding until you rotate it around the back, because of just how well the print fits seamlessly with everything else. As you can see, there's so many different colors introduced for the sides of the legs and the arms here that you actually don't even notice that the dominant colors of the pants are two different colors until you rotate it to the back. That just means it's been so well produced, and that's something that continues upwards to the arms as well. Overall, this is an excellently made figure and truly one of the best collectible minifigures they've ever done, but there's still more to see. And moving on to number 7, we have the Mummy Queen from Series 19 of the collectible minifigures. Now this is again another excellently made figure, with great printing on the sides of the arms as well as dual molded legs with printing that continues along these sides of the legs. One thing that actually really impressed me was the quality of the white printing on the dark tan legs. It just seems like it really fits seamlessly with the rest of the dual molding for the white boots, and actually is something that worked out very well, unlike some of LEGO's other attempts to print a lighter color on a darker base. The figure itself has two different great expressions, one for the gold painted mask as well as one that's more of a zombified mummy looking expression, which is a really fun one to get. One thing I really appreciate is just how good the printing on the arms looks, with the different colored bands in the pearl gold as well as the teal wristbands really just adding a lot of extra pop to the figure and making it feel special compared to other mummy-like figures. Unfortunately, in terms of accessories, the figure only came with a standard gold scorpion, which we have seen a lot of times before. Would have appreciated maybe something a little bit more interesting, although it is of course nice to get the figure as a whole being fully detailed all in all. But with that, we can now move on to our number 6 pick for this list. Another minifigure from Series 19, this is the Video Game Champ. And one thing that I really love about this figure in particular is just the amount of different LEGO theme references scattered throughout his jacket, which is a jacket I kind of wish we could get in real life. As you can see here, you can see the classic space logo, the M-Tron logo, and the Blacktron logo, which looks really great as a multicolor print on the jacket itself. I always love it when LEGO references vintage themes, particularly vintage space themes, in the collectible minifigures line, and this one is no different. There's also another reference to an older collectible minifigure, the Cyborg figure on the front of the space game there, so that is also a really interesting thing to get, as well as a great mold for the video game controller piece, which thankfully did not remain exclusive to the CMFs and has been popping up in standard retail LEGO sets. That being said, the rest of the figure is fairly standard. He uses a great recolor of the Poe Dameron headpiece from the Last Jedi series of Star Wars sets, this time recolored in green and black for the gamer hairpiece there, but the pants themselves are pretty standard, just featuring the alien invaders pixelized print on one of the legs and a plain blue leg for the other. So nothing too special going on there. The jacket is really what steals the show for this figure, as well as the nice accessories. But with that, we can move on to our number 5 pick on this list, returning to the Disney Series 2 collectible minifigures. This is the Jack Skellington minifigure. While it isn't necessarily as detailed or featuring as much different technology like dual molding as some of the other figures, I just really appreciate how good the design looks translated to minifigure form. The figure uses some excellent printing on the sides of the arms and legs, a very simple printing for just the white stripes, but one that really works out very well for this character. He has a great gift box as the accessory featuring some snowflakes hidden inside, as well as a great new mold for the shoulder piece there, which has remained exclusive to the figure itself. Truly to me, despite the character in animated form being a much lankier and skinnier character with a very different body structure, this to me pretty much exemplifies the character itself, and is probably the perfect depiction you could do without making it a special new mold. In LEGO minifigure form, this is basically the best you could get for such an iconic character, and so that's why it is so high up on this list. But there is still more to look at here, so let's now move on to number 4. And coming in at number 4, we have yet another entry from the Disney Series 2 collectible figures. This is the figure for Elsa from Frozen, which was one of the first time we were getting Frozen characters in minifigure form instead of mini-doll form. And this does not disappoint. First of all, as you can see here, I've splayed the cape out to the side just so you can really appreciate the amount of printing on the cape there. It has an excellently detailed design with these sparkly snowflakes on the back of the cape, mixed in with the darker blue printing across the light blue fabric. It also introduces a brand new hairpiece mold, which looks really fantastic for the character itself, is one of the most detailed hairpieces that we've ever gotten from LEGO, and even has the extra bit of detailing for the printing on the sides of the arms in the metallic silver color, which truly sparkles and shines in the light. All in all, this is probably the best minifigure depiction for the character we could have gotten, another very iconic character to get in minifigure form, and that's why it barely edges out the previous figure on this list just because of how good it is in terms of the printing on the sides of the arms, the excellent cape element, and just how accurate it is to the source material. With that, we can now move on to the top 3 best collectible minifigures of 2019. And coming in at number 3, perhaps this is a bit of a biased choice, but I have chosen the Galactic Bounty Hunter.
While he doesn't feature really anything special in terms of dual molding on the arms or legs, or even printing on the legs, I really do appreciate the references and callbacks to original LEGO themes like Blacktron here. This is basically the perfect LEGO Blacktron soldier you could get in the modern LEGO era, which is why this really stands out to me as being one of the best figures from the 2019 collectible minifigs. The Blacktron logo on the chest there, or as some people like to say, the inverted Triforce, looks really great. It's very prominent like it was on the original Blacktron characters, but it doesn't necessarily detract too much from the rest of the aesthetics. It is reusing the Ant-Man minifigure head mold, which was introduced for Avengers Endgame, as well as the Firefly DC figure, but I think that helmet looks really good for this character and is a great update to the classic black biker helmet which we got in the original Blacktron figures. I love the transparent book cover being used as a wanted sign, built or broken for this particular minifigure, which is a really fun piece to get for a transparent clear piece printed for the bounty hunter himself, and while he is just using the standard Alien Conquest dual gun, I think it works well for this character. Removing the helmet features a very interestingly looking printed head underneath for an alien character, which is very different from other space-themed minifigures that we've gotten in the past. But there's still 2 more figures on this list, and so with that we can move on to number 2. And coming in at number 2, we have our second figure from the LEGO Movie 2 series. This is simply the Dorothy figure from the Wizard of Oz series. This figure is very notable for not only being an accurate representation of the character itself, but also featuring an excellently molded new hairpiece with some great printing on the ribbons there in the light azure color. Of course, the dual molding on the arms is really great as well, with the white upper sleeves transitioning down to the bare lower sleeves, as well as the dual molding on the legs themselves, which are covered by a new print for the skirt element right there, which is great to see in fabric form and something that surprisingly works very well as a continuation of the dress as seen on the front of the torso. One thing that I really do like is the inclusion of the slippers on the bottom of the feet there, printed in red, continuing alongside the sides of the legs with some nice silver sparkles added in. It's just a great mold to get in general. And this figure's accessory was actually having the dog Toto as well, which is a fantastic new mold for the LEGO dog element. It's a brand new piece and looks really accurate and great, and something that I do wish would be recolored for different colors for different LEGO animals in the future. But with that, we can now move on to our number 1 pick on this list. And returning to Series 19, we have the Jungle Explorer, but who are we kidding? This is an updated version of Johnny Thunder, the classic hero from LEGO Adventures in the most modern form that you could possibly have. Now, this Johnny Thunder figure sports some great dual molded boots which look really good for the character itself, as well as introduced a brand new lizard animal mold which is really nice to get, and thankfully something we actually have gotten different colors for in future LEGO sets. I really love how the face print is very authentically related, tying back to the original Johnny Thunder figure while still retaining the modern charm and look and feel, as well as the inclusion of the newer style of dual molded backpack piece in the dark green and brown, which really does accentuate the character's color scheme. One thing I appreciate about this remake of a vintage classic figure is that they decided to make a few changes to the color scheme, namely making the torso dark tan instead of light tan, but still retaining the essence of the character itself, which is a very unique LEGO character and a very iconic one to boot. He also has a magnifying glass, which was a piece commonly used throughout the LEGO Adventures sets back in the day, so it's kind of nice to see a callback to that. And all in all, this is probably the best Johnny Thunder inspired minifigure we're ever going to get in LEGO form.
Alright, and with that, we have summed up the top 10 best collectible minifigures from 2019. Again, this was just my personal opinion, so do let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree and which ones are your personal favorites. Of course, stay tuned to Duckbricks because next time we'll be jumping 1 year back in the past, taking a look at the best figures of 2018. But until then, I'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you so much for tuning into Duckbricks, and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks so much, and bye-bye for now.